I am back with another video for you. New stories from Ethiopia, Eritrea and Sudan. I am putting timestamps on these longer videos now so that you could easily watch the section of the video which you would like to. Firstly, viewers, a meeting between Tigray and Amhara leaders happened reportedly. And now another meeting is ongoing. This ongoing meeting is in Jimma, reportedly, in the Oromia region of Ethiopia. Tigray leadership is there in Jimma. Secondly, viewers, Ethiopian budget is being criticized for the new fiscal year. No new recruitments by the government, no new projects, and we are seeing criticism. Does it mean that Ethiopian youths have no future? Thirdly, Sheger city is being built. We know Oromia regional government is determined to build the city according to a plan. Houses being demolished, churches, mosques. Shimalis Abdisa says that no compromise will be made. Illegal constructions will be demolished. But can he secure Sheger city? Because abductions are being reported in Sululta. Sululta is part of Sheger. Several people have been abducted. Abducted for ransom. Who is behind the abductions? Ola is being accused. Fourthly, a video for you about Eritrean President Isaias Afwerki. The video shows an American diplomat's comments about Isaias Afwerki. What type of man he is. Is it difficult to handle? Hard nut to crack? We have this clip for you, old clip, but I thought it would be interesting to share it with you. Lastly, viewers, Sudan, where a new ceasefire has been agreed by the parties. Yesterday I reported, if you remember, that talks were being held to convince the parties to agree on a 24-hour final ceasefire. This ceasefire will be fully monitored, and if parties violated it, they will be put under sanctions. It seems parties have agreed. We have details for you. Firstly, viewers, a key meeting is ongoing in Oromia. Tigray leadership is in Oromia reportedly. African Union High Representative Obasanjo has arrived in Oromia too. Of course, Ethiopian federal government officials are there too. Before this meeting, a few days ago, there was a meeting between Tigray and Amhara leaders. PM Abiy tried to bring the two sides closer. They were invited, they met. Issues, obviously, Raya, Volkayat, future status of Raya, future status of Volkayat, return of IDPs. Especially, the Prime Minister asked the two parties to talk about return of IDPs. Talks were held. No agreement could be reached reportedly. They met and then they just departed. Now, that meeting was attended by Amhara leaders like Yelkal Kefale, Amhara region's president. Damakev was there too. He is Amhara, deputy prime minister, foreign minister. He is not in Ethiopia these days. He was in Saudi Arabia yesterday. So the meeting happened before that. I think when he returned from China, after that this meeting took place. From Tigray side, Getachew attended the meeting. No agreement could be reached. We know that Yelkal visited Tigray along with other presidents. Shimalis Yilkal, I think Mustafa too, they visited, and other regional presidents. They visited Tigray a few weeks ago. Getachew has not visited Amhara region so far. So PM Abiy tried to bring the two sides to the table. They talked, no agreement could be reached. Now, second meeting is ongoing in Jimma. It started a few hours ago. I could not get any information from the meeting. Only confirmation is that the federal government, African Union, Tigray leadership are again sitting to find resolution to the unresolved issues. Unresolved issues include return of IDPs, one of main issues. Future status of Raya Volkayet. Political status of TPLF. TPLF not restored as a political party so far. TPLF wrote a letter to African Union. And TPLF's assets not released so far. They were frozen. And effort, Tigray's conglomerate of more than 30 companies' accounts were frozen too. Tigray government wants the money, access to accounts. So no one knows if there is any money left in the accounts or not. These are some of the issues which are being discussed. And all of these issues are very crucial issues, viewers. It will be test of Tigray, Amhara and Ethiopian federal government representatives to agree on some understandings about these key issues. So we'll try to find what is happening at the meeting, and in a coming we'll try to update you. Secondly, viewers, new budget for new year is being criticized by several news outlets. Ethiopian new fiscal year budget has no new projects. Prosperity Party has been found of new projects. We saw that since PM Abiy came to power, they announced new projects, mostly infrastructure projects. Parks built, palaces being built, roads being built. And in this budget, there is no allocation of funds for any new projects, firstly. That just shows the financial crunch which the government is facing. Secondly, no new recruitments by government departments. It means Ethiopian youth will have no new jobs in government sector in this coming year. Obviously, it's a bad news for Ethiopian youths. Having said that, it does not mean that government cannot create jobs for the youth. Obviously, if industrialization gains pace, it will create jobs for people. If private companies flourish, it will create jobs. If foreign investments come in Ethiopia, it will create jobs too. But in government sector, no new jobs for Ethiopian youth in coming year. What about the new militias which are being raised by the government? Of course, these militia members will be paid. Regional governments or federal governments, they'll have to pay the salaries. A few days ago, I shared pictures with you from Avi zone, where a new militia members were seen graduating. They completed their training. Obviously, they'll be given salaries. So, security sector recruitments might continue, I think. But obviously, Ethiopian youth, if they are just being recruited by forces, it does not mean they have bright future. Overall, the budget shows that the budget content show that Ethiopian government is faced with an economic crisis, unable to get a bailout package. IMF, World Bank in talks with the government, US twisting Ethiopian government's arm. US, I shared in the last video 4 demands by US. It wants Ethiopian government to tackle some thorny issues before release of any funds. So hard times ahead for Ethiopian economy, for Ethiopian government, for Ethiopian regions too, because regions are unable to pay salaries. We have seen that in SNNPR in southwest region, that some government workers have been unpaid for some time, and they protested a few days ago. They were arrested in Hadi, I think, SNNPR. Overall, not a very promising budget for the youth. Let's hope that the Prosperity Party abandons this approach of going for mega projects to show how big Ethiopia is. It should learn how to spend on human capital. Human resources should be improved, they should be uplifted. That is the way forward. And we know that already Ethiopian government was facing a budget deficit. I shared that in a video that 194.6 billion birrs was the budget deficit being faced by the government in the previous fiscal year. So in coming year as well, this deficit will go on if there is no intervention, no bailout package, no savings. Government has no new funds for any new projects. It has no funds for new projects. At the same time, it has no funds for ongoing projects as well. So ongoing projects are being delayed too reportedly. Let's see, will the government be able to get something from outside? We'll have to wait and see. Thirdly, viewers, Sheger city is being built by Oromia regional government. Sheger Abdisa is hell-bent on building the Sheger city according to a plan. Modern city is being built, Sheger says. He refused to give in when we saw statements from some Prosperity Party members, Oromo Federalist Congress, who criticized ongoing demolition of buildings, houses, churches, mosques in Sheger city. He said, construction of the city will continue. Master plan is being implemented. He told the religious elders too that they'll be taken on board, but demolitions will continue. Yes, they'll be given land, modern mosques, churches will be built in Sheger city. Can he provide security too? Because in Salulta, kidnapping for ransom is being reported. Salulta is part of this Sheger city. Just 30 kilometers away from Addis Ababa is Salulta. And now it is being reported by several news sources that on last Wednesday, 2 days ago, several people were abducted by unknown attackers in Salulta city. And a week ago, around more than 15 were abducted by an armed group. So 2 attacks in around 10 days on Salulta. Unknown number of people abducted. Ransom is being demanded for the release. Who could be behind these abductions? Obviously, Amhara news sources are blaming Ola, that Oromo Liberation Army fighters, they kidnapped people and they are demanding ransom. We don't know. Several groups operating. A few days ago, an American news source published an article about Fikade Abdisa, another Oromo fighter leading a group of armed fighters. He is operating too. Though mainly he is in Valega. Does he have presence in Salulta? I don't know. In Salulta, I think Fikade has no presence. Ola has presence in Salulta, we know that, or in nearby areas. Ola has hit areas in East Shava, etc., North Shava too. And there could be involvement of some criminal elements too. By the way, Ola fighters were accused of kidnapping for ransom in the past too. They abducted some sugar factory workers and the workers were released after paying ransom. And some say this kidnapping for ransom is a source of funding for Ola fighters. They rob banks, they kidnap people for ransom. It has been happening. That is how they fund their campaigns. That is how they ensure that they are buying weapons. They have money to buy weapons. But the development shows, these incidents of kidnapping for ransom show that Oromia government is unable to stop attackers from kidnapping people for ransom in Sheger. So if the government wants to build a modern city, government should learn how to protect the residents of the city. If Ola fighters, if any other group's fighters are able, if criminal elements are able to hit this modern Sheger city, it means Oromia government is just focused on doing infrastructure work, no focus on security. Fourthly, we have Isaias Afwerki, Eritrean President. What type of leader he is? How to handle him? I have a video of an American diplomat for you who has been dealing all world leaders. One of the most seasoned American diplomats is Susan Rice, Susan Elizabeth Rice. Late Madeleine Albright, former Secretary of State of the US, in an interview asked Susan Rice about the world leaders who are difficult to handle in talks, in negotiations. She mentioned a few names. She mentioned Putin. Then she mentioned Mohammed bin Salman from Saudi Arabia. Thirdly, she mentioned Erdogan from Turkey. And lastly, she mentioned Isaias Afwerki, Eritrean President. Difficult to handle. What does it mean? Is it acknowledgement of Isaias Afwerki's qualities, that a seasoned diplomat believes it's difficult to handle this man? Perhaps it shows that all these people, especially Putin, Erdogan, Isaias Afwerki, they're known for being committed to some ideologies. Ideologies are mostly anti-West, anti-US. And when they talk, obviously, they have arguments, they have facts, they have figures. That is why maybe it's difficult to handle them. Watch a clip of Susan Rice talking about Isaias Afwerki.
And the opposite. Who is the foreign leader that you found the most difficult to deal with, that you had to deal with?
Let me keep it simple and say Putin.
Yeah.
Netanyahu. Isaias Afwerki of Eritrea.
Lastly, we have Sudan, where warring factions have agreed on another ceasefire. Just a few minutes ago, Saudi Foreign Ministry issued a statement. Details are coming in that RSF and Sudanese army have agreed on a new ceasefire. The two parties have been in talks in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. They agreed on two earlier ceasefires, one 7-day long ceasefire, second one was 5-day long ceasefire. But second 5-day ceasefire collapsed on day 2. The two ceasefires could not be fully implemented. We saw airstrikes, clashes, artillery fire, movement of troops, etc. on the ground when the two ceasefires were announced, though the two parties agreed in black and white. Then we saw that Saudi and American representatives, diplomats, they announced suspension of talks. But the two parties remained in Saudi Arabia, in Jeddah, and talks resumed. Reportedly, the two sides have agreed on another ceasefire. This time, ceasefire will be implemented. If any party, if RSF or Sudanese army violated the ceasefire, it will have to face consequences. 24-hour ceasefire has been agreed by Rapid Support Forces and Sudanese army. When will the ceasefire come into effect? On Saturday, 10th of June, 6 a.m. local time, the starting time of this ceasefire. After that, ceasefire will be minutely monitored by American and Saudi observers. If any of the two parties violated the ceasefire, then punitive measures will be announced. That is what we have learned, reportedly through drones, surveillance drones. Ceasefire will be monitored by Saudi and Americans. Americans have their presence, military presence in Djibouti. There they have a military base there, so from there they can obviously deploy planes and drones to monitor on the ground the situation in Sudan. Let's see. Saudi Foreign Ministry has issued a statement. Obviously, it means that the two parties have agreed on the ceasefire. It will be interesting to monitor the ceasefire from tomorrow. Which party will violate the ceasefire? We'll see from tomorrow. It seems that Saudi and American diplomats have sent a very strong message to Rapid Support Forces and Sudanese army that the ceasefire talks should not be just a waste of time. The two sides should not make a mockery of ceasefire talks. That is why this last attempt has been made for a genuine ceasefire on the ground. So we'll have to monitor the ceasefire starting from 6 a.m. local time tomorrow, Saturday, 10th of June. Thank you for watching.